Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're live right now, and I want to discuss a little bit more about the musical score of Danny Elfman. Now, there's a couple things I think people are misunderstanding when I say that his score was brilliant in certain respects. Um, I'm not saying that it's better than Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL scores. There is somewhat of a break in continuity with the Man of Steel themes, but like I said before, what I liked was that Danny Elfman, he actually borrowed from Junkie XL. And there's a lot of Hans Zimmer stuff also that he was doing in there that I thought he borrowed off of the vibe of Hans Zimmer. So that's what I'm basically saying. I think he had to kind of try and mesh in the tones. There's a lot of Marvelish stuff. There's a lot of typical superhero stuff in there. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. And that kind of cheapened the film somewhat for some people. Now, I really want to talk about the fans' reaction to this because I know you guys probably weren't expecting a hangout if I probably make an announcement of when my hangouts come out, but when I get a vibe to pop up and say something, I pop up and say something. All right, guys. So let me just be very brief about this. Okay, so when you looked at the vibe out there for Justice League, generally people saying it was a campy movie, blah, 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 blah. I think it mostly has to do with the soundtrack, the musical score that Danny Elfman put together. Now, why I say there's a lack of continuity, certain scenes in the movie I thought would call for Hans Zimmer's theme to be reoccurring. The only time I think he really overtly brought forth Hans Zimmer's score was in the spaceship. You would have assumed that when he reconnected with Lewis, we would get those boom, 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 boom. I thought that theme was in there, but it's not actually. You didn't get that pulse to connect back to Man of Steel, and that continuity of that particular tone from Hans Zimmer played throughout the other two movies. Even in BVS, there was that boom, 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 boom. Okay. Now, but what I was saying to you is that wasn't there. The Man of Steel theme wasn't there in the movie at all. And these things connect and finish off the trilogy as a whole. And I think that's what fans were missing. He did, interestingly enough, how this movie ended with those 16 and 32 notes, very percussiony, is actually how Danny Elfman ended his variation of Hans Zimmer's theme at the end when the dust rises off the grave of Superman. He actually ended Justice League in a similar vein, but with a Danny Elfman kind of style to it. So he did more of a but it still was a similar sort of vein. Now, because Danny Elfman has done a lot of comic book movies, Danny Elfman's style of doing things is kind of well known, and it's kind of almost generic now. So that's kind of sad. So a lot of parts in the movie felt very generic. The fight with Superman versus Steppenwolf, there was the Superman 1978 theme that would pop up every now and then. The tension that Danny Elfman put into the film, I thought he borrowed off of Junkie XL. In fact, I can actually show you, because Junkie XL was basically using Batman theme as well, I guess. So I think he was copying Danny Elfman. But literally, when you see there's certain portions in the film that are just straight out of BVS, I mean, it's the progressions are exactly the same. It's ridiculous. He also borrowed from the Matrix. Some of the score from the Matrix was inside of there. But what I'm saying is he kind of, at the end, as the film lightened up a bit, he kind of had a sort of almost childlike, campy style to certain parts of his music that remind us of the Avengers or a Marvel film. And I will say this, it actually worked for what he was doing. When Superman popped up and he said, I believe in truth, but I'm a big fan of justice, and he punched Steppenwolf, he went all the way back to the 1978 Superman, but at the same time, it felt very campy with the da 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 with the trumpets and everything. He's like every Marvel film you could think about goes through your head, and you're like, oh my God, There's something inside of you saying, I don't like this. But if you think about it, right, it fit the occasion. Okay, with Aquaman, some of you guys are gonna be like tripping, like, yes, that's it, you hit the nail on the head. Oh my god. Because I don't like trumpets in superhero movies. I've heard it so many times. Danny Elfman played the trumpets, and it was a typical superhero theme right there. But I think it helps because it in a certain way, it's like this now finally they're superheroes, you know? It's a superhero moment. So Danny Elfman kind of interpreted it that way. And he carried us all he carried us all the way back to the first superhero film that hit on the screens, Superman, okay, 1978. He carried us way back into time. And it works because I'll tell you why that worked right there. It worked right there because you literally were pumped at that moment when Superman punched Steppenwolf into the rocks. Everything was down, and this superhero moment actually worked. Okay. Now, if this was me doing this and coming after Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL had built this particular theme, certain themes for the trilogy, I'd probably have used a Man of Steel theme right there. Okay. But I understand, or infuse it with John Williams theme, but give you that percussive dun 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 dun, or some kind of percussive Man of Steel theme that was set from Man of Steel. But I think what really probably broke people's backs, and they called it a campy film with lots of jokes and stuff, was actually the musical score, which is kind of sad. I feel bad for Danny Elfman, but I think the musical score made or break this film. It sort of, for some people, it started off well. It started the tone and everything, the musical score, Danny Elfman, for probably two-thirds of this movie. Two-thirds of this movie, Danny Elfman was keeping with these darker tones, and the score fit along the lines of Junkie XL and Hans Zimmer's scores. So it actually, people were, but then coming up to the end, as they began to become very more superhero-y, he kind of departed from that somewhat to bring in the Superman theme. Actually, the Superman theme started popping up when Superman was resuscitated. There was some little Marvel themes again. Danny Elfman's done a lot of Marvel movies, so what can I tell you? So even when the Flash was touching the mother box as he was jumping through the air, you could feel the transition from that Junkie XL-ish tone to that Man of Steel, Matrix-y, Hans Zimmer, Junkie XL tone, all the way across into Marvel. And he did this transition. He did it kind of brilliantly because he'd pop up the little Marvel thing and then he'll just disappear. But coming down to the end, some key moments felt like Marvel moments, like when the team was coming off of the troop carrier. You know, at first it starts off kind of darkish and then it kind of goes into Marvel, and then it disappears again. And so I feel that people kind of got turned off from that. And then the fact that why they say it's a disconnect from, say, Batman v Superman and from Man of Steel, again, the musical score had a lot to do with it. That certain themes, certain musical themes that were built up from Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, all of a sudden, those themes either weren't being played up or they were being played down by Danny Elfman, who's going a totally different direction. And I think that is probably why a lot of people got turned off from this movie. Because if you go and watch the movie itself, it's all Zack Snyder. I mean, like the end scenes of the movie, no. Joss Whedon did that scene with Superman fighting Steppenwolf. I think part of that scene. I still think it's Zack that did most of that scene. I think it's the dialogue part that Danny Elfman redid. But and then the CGI kind of threw off some people, and they were like, "Man, this thing's not finished." So they say it's not a finished cut because of that. Some people say Danny Elfman slapped together scores. I don't think he slapped together anything, but I can see why, again, people got turned off. And so that's why I wanted to discuss a little bit about the fans' reaction to this movie and why they kind of got turned off with certain things. And then the other thing about it is, while this movie had a style of Zack Snyder and most of it was shot with Zack Snyder, I think some of the unpolished scenes is what I call them. Unpolished scenes where it looks like somebody standing in front of a green screen. It looks like, you know, some scenes were reshot. I think that little unpolished part about it is why people call it rush, and why people said, you know, Whedon did cheap scenes and that kind of stuff. So when it first came out, it was unpolished. They polished it up some since then, but I think that's one of the reasons. But I still maintain that Danny Elfman was pretty brilliant on this. He was brilliant on it. He's not Hans Zimmer. He's not Junkie XL. What Junkie XL had in store, oh, we know it was going to be epic. We knew it was going to be epic. But Junkie XL doesn't have that clout behind his name. So, and, you know, when a director comes on board, for him to feel comfortable, he needs to have whoever. I didn't like what Warner Brothers did to Junkie XL. I really didn't. I thought, you know, I don't even see his name in the credits. I have to go back and check and see if he has any contribution to this movie. But his stuff, his stamp, his signature is in there. Also, although they did play a little something in tribute of Pet Sematary, it wasn't a whole lot. I was going back over it in a couple minutes. But I could understand why the fans were frustrated with this movie. There are certain things. It's not a totally different tone or feel, but it could feel the last impression of this movie. Right? The last impression of this movie would give you that. When Superman's racing the Flash, you get this different vibe. You could tell when it's Joss Whedon because there's a different vibe to it. Joss Whedon moment, like the Superman racing the Flash, which that's Superman, that's the Flash. The characters are fixed. Joss Whedon couldn't change that. But what was changed again? The music, the tone, the dun 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 ending, you know, you know that people be watching like we watching the same universe. You would question that, okay? However, when we saw Lex Luthor and Deathshot, we got back that Hans Zimmer kind of weird Lex Luthor-y violin playing thing, and we know Joss Whedon kind of emulated that. So you got those different kinds of feels every now and then. They weren't permanent. But Joss Whedon would sneak in a little Marvel-ish kind of campy-ish sounding music. And I think that's why people said, oh, this music camp is trash, because certain things will give you a guttural feeling. Emotionally, it's great on your last freaking nerve. But Danny Elfman was smart enough not to do it too often and not too explicitly. I think it turned off a lot of people, the musical score. He tried to stay in the boundaries of what Junkie XL was, the tone of the movie, pretty much. But there is a tonal shift in this movie, music-wise, coming down to the end. There is a tonal shift. And he shifted all the way out of what Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL were doing all along. And he went all the way back to Richard Donner. This movie ended on this movie carried us back to Richard Donner's Superman. And Richard Donner's Superman's world, which is why the endings were kind of optimistic and so on. And I suspect that, I don't know how true this is, but I don't know if Cyborg had to split the mother boxes open, but I suspect he probably had to do it on his own because we saw it in the trailers. He was splitting the mother boxes on his own. It may not have been. Maybe Superman did help him. I don't know. I can't tell you. The rumors were that he died, but I don't see Cyborg dying. That Cyborg can't die. The machine can't die. Cyborg, he can have power failure and stuff, but they can always revive him. So I don't know about Cyborg dying. And certain scenes with Wonder Woman, they were saying that really ended up in a disaster. She tried to save the people and she saved some, but some died and all that kind of crap. I don't know how much truth that is to that as well. I think that the continuity would have been exactly how it was, except she would have blasted those terrorist guys out of the building. You know, I thought that's what was going to happen. And they just didn't bother to show that part, you know. And there's a lot of work went into exploding a building somewhere in London to get that off. So I don't know why they cut that out, but it got the point. She saved the people, which is the whole point of the thing. And how do we know that Wonder Woman was saving those people? Well, besides seeing a clip of it, we've seen pieces and pieces and pieces of what she did. And again, we know that fight scene is a little longer as well, where she swept a guy's legs out from under him, and she did a lot of other stuff. So there's a lot more action that's been left out of this movie, and that's okay. It's okay. So that's why a lot of people wanted to see a director's cut, and basically they wanted to see Zack Snyder's director's cut of this movie. Now there are rumors circulating again that we're going to get a director's cut, and it's going to be Joss Whedon's director's cut. First of all, that's stupid because Joss Whedon's not the director, so we can't get a Joss Whedon director cut. So that's a rumor to inflame people, to get them angry. Guys, you got to sift through this stuff. You got to use your brain. Then there's all these rumors about reshuffling of Warner Brothers and stuff. That's somebody's imagination going crazy. And even the rumor that even Mark Hughes fell bait to, which says that John Berg and Jeff Johns are going to get removed from. Look, man, unless Warner Brothers comes out and says something, y'all just don't even listen to that crap. Okay, it's just clickbait. Stop it. Just forget these people. They want to go into rumors, let them go into rumors, right? Now, with respect to this movie and this weekend, all right, I see I have one viewer here. That's kind of crazy. I didn't expect nobody to be viewing this at this hour of the day, but if you guys are, that means you must be thirsty for this stuff. I'm coming to see you, viewer, whoever you are. I see. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. I don't know who you are, but nobody's commenting on it. Okay, cool. I was just worried that there was somebody over on this section that was probably watching what I'm doing. Okay, so let me get into what yes, over the weekend. So over the weekend, man, let's make this a memorable weekend, man. Let's go out and see this movie. Invite your friends, invite your family, invite as much people as possible. Let's go out there, man, and have a good time watching this movie. I've been watching it quite a lot. I have so many Easter eggs and so much stuff to share with you guys, but it takes a lot of prep time to do that. And what I want to do, but I don't want to get copyright infringed and blocked on YouTube. Otherwise, I would actually pair up. I'd show you guys what Danny Elfman did at certain portions of the movie and how it balances off of BVS and all these the different feels from the different movies. Even Pet Sematary, he even borrowed a little something from Pet Sematary there. I would love to show you guys that, because that would be a beautiful big old Easter egg right there. And from The Matrix, he did borrow from The Matrix. That boo moment right there. But Danny Elfman's pretty brilliant, man. He borrowed from different things and he matched things together. I guess Joss Whedon wanted to feel at the end of the movie. Danny Elfman provided it for him. And in a way, the music kind of, oh my gosh. Let me say it this way. At the end of the movie, because he used that original Superman feel for the movie, I think some people felt it's feel good music and it's nice, but it doesn't sometimes feel grounded. So I can understand again why the fans were like grating at their last nerve against it, because it didn't sometimes feel grounded. It's not grounded music. It feels like happily ever after music, but it doesn't feel like, you know what I'm saying? So I understand why people felt a certain way about this movie. The last thing they felt, especially if they didn't wait for the after credit scenes, which again, after credit scenes, are you serious? After credit scenes, you know, that's another thing. Zack Snyder is not into the after credit scene stuff. So when people talk about, when you hear rumors, oh, well, Lex Luthor was supposed to be in, or this was supposed to be in the after credits, no, Zack Snyder don't go for after credits. He didn't do it for BVS. He ain't do it for Man of Steel. And he wasn't going to do it for this movie. I can tell you that. So you just gotta have to know Zack Snyder. All right, that's a Joss Whedon influence, something where he said, you know what, this doesn't fit inside the movie. Let's put this in the after credits. And Warner Brothers was like, yeah, because that's what the fans saying. Why do you have an after credit scene? You know what I'm saying? So they were on the same level playing field. But really, Wonder Woman didn't have no after credit scene. There's a reason. You know what I'm saying? Because Zack Snyder doesn't believe in that. Patty Jenkins didn't see a need to do it, and she's kind of the same mind as Zack. She just has that. I think Patty Jenkins has that Academy Award clout behind her. So Warner Brothers has to listen to her because she's that kind of director. James Cameron, they had to listen to James Cameron because James Cameron had that clout behind him. But Zack didn't have that clout behind him. So, and Joss Whedon doesn't have that clout behind him. So because of that, they're not really listening to these directors. And again, I'm not mad at that. I'm just thinking that what I would have liked to see, and I hope Warner Brothers is learning some kind of lesson from this because they better, is that sometimes it's better if you just let the director do what they do. I know you have screenings and all of that, but you're not really respecting. You didn't respect Zack Snyder. Patty Jenkins had to fight her fight. You don't respect Joss Whedon, clearly. And it's, of course, this is Joss Whedon and Jeff Johns' idea. And I told you guys, Jeff Johns did a great Green Lantern movie, and you saw what happened with that. And I'm trying to tell you people, all those detractors of the DCEU who talk about it's drab or whatever, the DCEU is what it is because of what it is. Okay? I'm not saying that this movie was bad and it deserved the backlash that it was getting. Absolutely not. But what I'm saying is that the DCEU has its distinctive style. Now I'm hearing all kinds of rumors about they should do rated R films and they should be like Fox. And now they need to follow after Fox. And I'm saying, fuck that. This is the DCEU. This is not fucking Fox. This isn't fucking Marvel. This is not the MCU. And this is not fucking Fox. So I don't want to hear shit. Let it be what it is. And I think Warner Brothers knows this. Okay? And I'm tired of these assholes putting out rumors about a movie where the DCU is what it is. You don't like it, then sign off. Don't go watch it. But fuck it, man. Be what you are. So I think that's the problem with these people throwing out all these rumors. And there's a lot of rumors and a lot of bullshit going on out there to distract you from watching this movie. This movie is a very good movie. It is what it is. I like that it crossed over the Marvel field. Some of you would probably, you just need to get over that, folks. Get over it. It's out there. It's in the cinemas. Now we want to see a Zack Snyder cut. If you guys really want to see a fucking Zack Snyder cut, if you fucking want to see a fucking Zack Snyder cut, and I'm cussing for a reason, because I want you to get the point, then you have to go out there and watch this movie again. And do it this weekend and stop being an ass. Yes, I understand what was grating on your last nerves because I'm a DCEU fan. I know what was happening, but I think a lot of you guys, I'm examining things and I'm realizing you guys are kind of superficial, man. You don't go in to watch the content of a movie. You guys go in thinking that you should get a certain feeling from the music or whatever. Man, fuck that. You have to understand what the movie's actually saying, man. Okay? I don't understand why some of you fickle ass dummies don't understand how Lex Luthor was a great villain. I had to explain this shit to y'all because y'all empty-headed, man. Y'all is just fickle, man. Y'all don't even know when something's a rumor and when something's the truth. All right? And I just showed you guys, like the VFX guy, I don't know who the hell he is. If he's an unconfirmed source, I don't know who the hell he is. I got to listen to Fabian Wagner. And my point is this, not listen to Fabian Wagner. I can go to a VFX person on Twitter or on LinkedIn, and I can ask them that question, and they can give me the answer. Or they could ignore me, all right? And the point is, fact check your shit. If the media says X, Y, and Z said this, Ben Affleck or whatever, do you know you could contact Ben Affleck on Twitter, and you could ask him that question? Do you know you could actually do your own homework on the issue and find out the truth of the matter? Then put up your videos. These people are accessible today. All right. If you want to find out if something's true or false, you can actually contact the public relations department of Warner Brothers and ask them yourself. That's the world we live in now. They may not answer you, but you can ask them. So my point being, verify your shit. I'm going to verify. I promise you guys, I'll come back with a video and I will verify if the black suit that Fabian Wagner talked about, if it was actually any VFX people worked on anything concerning that. I'm going to find out. I'm going to call up all the VFX people and contact them, and I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask as a fan. I'm just going to ask. Now, they don't have to give me any information because that's behind the scenes stuff, but they may just give me, and then I will just simply give you the exclusive on it. It's simple, folks. It's not like that complicated because people need that. But you need to build some kind of trust. They need to know that you are in there, going to do something to tell the truth of the matter or whatever, and that you have a big enough outreach that people can hear the message. It's that simple. You troubleshoot things. One of you guys said, I think it was more to come. You said that in your IMAX, I think it's real cinemas or something like that. In your IMAX, a certain guy who's the president of some of those purchasing whatever the movies for that, he got an email saying that they needed to go and look at the disaster artists, and Warner Brothers is pushing the disaster artists right now, and they're just kind of abandoned Justice League. which is what they really have done. But I'm gonna tell you this: if we make a big enough statement over this weekend, they're gonna realize how stupid their evaluation was of Justice League. So that's why we need to make a statement as fans out here, and let's go support this movie. Support it like mad. I want a Snyder cut, but how the hell am I gonna get a Snyder cut? I mean, I ain't got no clout. I gotta show. Hey, first of all, to get a Snyder cut, I want to show you what we can do as fans, and we're gonna support this shit. We're not gonna not support it. If you're not support it, how they gonna get money to do a Snyder cut? How the fuck they gonna do that? Because they're counting on this to make the money, right? Oh, well, if you put out a Snyder cut, they ain't forking out no more money to finish off a movie to put it on DVD. That's bullshit. They ain't gonna do that. It had to have a cut out there. With BVS, the ultimate cut was out there. Snyder had finished the ultimate cut. The ultimate cut was supposed to go into theaters. And weeks, I'm talking about weeks, really close to the publishing date, fucking Warner Brothers told him, nah, it's too long. We need to shorten it up. And fuck the guy, okay? That's how Snyder got fucked the first time. The second time with Watchmen, he got fucked too. This time, he didn't get to finish it. He had a rough cut out there. There was a rough cut out there. And not properly edited or anything. It was just a rough cut out there. All right? So it's going to take some fucking money to take that rough cut, which Junkie XL soundtrack's not on it yet. It was going to be, I'm sure it was going to be fucking epic. He's going to take that rough cut, and then he was going to shorten it up, trim it up, neaten it up, find out what exactly I'm going to do with this rough cut, and get it down to what a polished, finished product, which cost fucking money to do. All right? And you're like, Warner Brothers is going to deliver up a rough cut. You think, how the fuck they're going to deliver up a rough cut and they're making a loss? They're never going to do that if they make a loss. You got to be out of your fucking mind. This is a $300 million plus project. They got money to fork out of their ass to put out some more because of you, the fans, to give a home release? Are you out of your fucking mind? So, no, they're not going to do that. So you have to, how you make it is you have to be smart. You have to negotiate. And the only way to negotiate is to show your power. Show your power this weekend. You got to show your power this weekend. Show them. And besides that, you guys need to have a second take on this movie because some of y'all went in with your minds was messed up going to watch this movie. You was looking for faults. You were looking for flaws. You're not going in there to enjoy a movie. Some of y'all so fucking gullible, man. It's just y'all. I'm still enjoying this movie. I am having a ball because I did two very important things. I never go into a movie with any expectations for it. I go to see what it has to offer. And two, I didn't spoil myself on this movie. I did not watch those clips. So when I went in, I didn't know what I was going to expect. And I wasn't listening to the critics because critics panned most of the DCU movies. I was disappointed that the critics panned it, no doubt about it, but I didn't care. Like nothing was going to stop me from going to see this movie. So now that DCEU fans fucked this movie over by saying, oh, it's this and that, and they started speaking negative things about it, obviously now, this is not the critics. So other DCEU fans are thinking, man, that this film might not be good. It might be shit because a DCU fan is saying that. Now I'm thinking twice about going to see this movie. It makes sense because in that respect now, these are people who do share, or seem to at least, share similar like interest in the DCU as you do. Next thing you go in and you realize, fuck it, man. These fucking DCU fans, they fooled me. This movie was fun. It was good. It was entertaining. There's some shit in there that I don't like, but hey, I can get over it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem. Because if you counting on other people to make the opinion for you, your ass is always going to get grasped. But if you form your own fucking opinion, then everybody's swayed by public opinion. It's hard to go against the flow, right? What I'm doing right now is going against the flow. I'm saying this movie has a chance. It's got fucking 7 more weeks, 6 more weekends. It has a fucking chance. I'm going completely against the logic and flow of everybody else. It takes something to do that. All right. And you have to have some kind of plan. If you have no plan, you can say that how much you want, it ain't going to happen. But if you have a plan, you work your plan, and you stay hopeful, it happens. I've done this before. I've been down this road. Okay? We've done this before. The DCU fans have done this before. Fucking media been saying all kinds of shit about BVS. How it was a flop and blah, 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 blah. BVS did it. It made its money. All right. They said it about Suicide Squad. Made its money. All right. And the thing about Suicide Squad was the first movie that Marvel fans, hardcore Marvel fans, said was a good film. They enjoyed it. They didn't know what the critics were talking about. That was the first crossover film. The second one was Wonder Woman. And this is the third one that actual Marvel fans like. And I'm telling you why. Because it's actually got Marvel shit in this movie. This movie actually, for a minute, especially down to the end, feels like a Marvel flick. Somewhat. Not really, but kind of. You understand? And y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand. That is actually the potential for DC and Marvel to cross over. That's the shit about this movie. That's what makes it so special. It makes it very special. You may not like those moments, but trust me, Marvel fans do. And that's important to think about. You got to think about what I'm saying. And what they did is it's really a callback to the earliest of DC films. So that's what they did. Because Kevin Feige, he also was a Richard Donner understudy. He and Jeff Johns, and they managed to tap into that. Kevin Feige does that, and so does Jeff Johns. They managed to tap into that original Christopher Reeves. So the fucking Marvel movies you watch now, they're using the Christopher Reeves formula, the Richard Donner formula. Right? Wonder Woman was a success because Patty Jenkins, which is a Richard Donner influenced person. She believed, she loved Richard Donner's movie. So they realized that certain things in Richard Donner's movie you can use. I mean, I was watching Richard Donner's movie, Superman, 1978. And there's a part that's just freaking hilarious when Lex Luthor discovers the kryptonite and he's explaining it to his doofusy people who work with him, the goon guy and the lady. And after he reveals this knowledge, he says, now, what questions do you want to ask? And they ask the most, they start going down the most irrelevant road. And you see Lex Luthor, he's shaking his head. He's shaking his head like he's trying to get that glitch out of his brain. You know, he had twitch, you know, like Lex and BVS, except he's much more composed. So when he starts to twitch, it's really funny. Man, it was so freaking hilarious. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was funny. And I realized that's what they are trying to harness, that magic for these different people and just that funny moment. It's kind of situational humor. And, you know, it's where the actor has to dramatize it. And I think that's what they were going for in this movie at certain parts. And I think Zack Snyder's shooting for that, too, because it basically that wasn't Joss Whedon moment. That was Zack Snyder moment. A lot of the moments, again, that's so funny about this. A lot of the Zack Snyder moments in this film are actually Joss Whedon doing the dialogue. And a lot of the Joss Whedon moments in this film that people think, oh, this is Joss Whedon doing it. Zack Snyder directed that shit. It's hilarious. And I just think that people put directors in a box. They put these movies in a box. So when you see the final product, I was trying to isolate what made people turn off from this movie besides the outside static, you know, people bumping their gums. And I thought about it, and I thought the music, especially down to the end. That's what you remember. Even though Elfman went back to a lot of times, we went back to the tone of XL and of Hans Zimmer and of the serious tone music. That ending, the ending of the movie really pissed some people off. That's the last thing they remember. And they didn't stay for the after credit scene, so they wouldn't have seen Lex Luthor at the end and that music, man, that Hans Zimmer-ish influenced music at the end, you know. Well, yeah, so that's basically it. I want to say, though, that there's also another part in the movie, which I didn't quite vibe with it, which it didn't portray a serious moment until a little bit later on. And that was where the terrorists were entering into Old Bailey. Just the moment where they were entering in and going up the steps. I thought that wasn't, I was like, it kind of Zoid. I was like, I don't really feel that. Like, I don't feel it serious. I think that's just way too theatrical. I can see how it's mischief involved and stuff, but I just thought it was just kind of out of place there. And that was daring by Danny Elfman, I would say. But I would say that I'm just being critical of the whole thing, and critical in a positive and negative way, and reflecting on it. And I'm saying I do understand why some of the fans would react to this music a certain way. Some people are saying the music was generic. Yes, there's certain parts of it that's very generic, but there are also parts in the music which are actually very novel and different, and incorporating many different variables that makes it actually interesting. Okay. And so I would say again that there's something special about this film in terms of its potential, in terms of its hope, the potential of it, the potential of every film being a force for DC and Marvel. You know, it's kind of, I know you guys don't want to hear that, but yeah. Pretty much gravitas with some suspension of belief. You know, Marvel's more about humanity on a superficial level to me. I don't know, I may be wrong. There's just certain themes in Marvel anyway, which are actually in DC anyway. But this world's grounded enough to have a serious tone and serious characters, and yet at the same time, because Shazam, if think about it, how you gonna have a Shazam movie? I mean, it's going to be wacky. It's not going to be, I mean, it's going to be grounded, but it's going to be wacky as hell. Shazam is a funny movie. So if you're going to have Shazam in there, how are you going to have it? So you have to have be able to go through a spectrum of characters. You see what I'm saying? So there's the potential, like I said there, to have this different gradations. Remember, in the DCEU, you got all kinds of crazy stuff. It's going to be grounded, but then you got to have also, you can't just only have grounded, gritty, serious, and sad, Shakespearean sad all the time. You can't have that shit. Come on now. You know, you have to mix it up. Shazam is not I mean, he's a funny character. You can't just, you know what I'm saying? So if you're going to have Shazam up in there, well, you might as well start laying the foundation and fabric and tone. And what I like about the DCEU, it seems as though it can envelop a number of different things. When you look at Suicide Squad, well, Enchantress, some of the effects there didn't quite work, but in Suicide Squad, again, you had the humor, you had the comedy, and you also had the dramatical elements of it that made it, even though it was rooted and grounded, you could fit in some almost caricatures inside of there. Some of them were just straight up caricatures. Captain Boomerang, it was a caricature. He wasn't, you know, I mean, you got to be, he's comic relief, right? So you have to understand that it's still believable. It's still a believable world, but you have to have that scope for that. Let me see if anybody's saying anything right now, because I've been on here for a little while, and I see there are more viewers, not much more viewers, but there are viewers out here. Hey, okay. Go up on Facebook here. I click link. Okay, there you go. Boop, boop. But I think that's why fans are having a certain reaction to this movie. Okay. Didn't know you had a bunch of other people up in here. Okay. Haters, Dave Ethan. Shout out to you, Dave Ethan. Shout out to you, Marcel Music. And shout out to you, Joanne Lewis. All right. I didn't know three of you watching right now. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I was busy talking. Seems as though I'm very good at doing that, talking. Dave Ethan says, haters creating these kinds of rumors. Weak sauce. Yeah. The rumor thing. You see, the problem with it is, Joanne Lewis, sup, guys? Shout out to you. The problem with this is that a lot of people, I don't know what's their problem, man, but they always believe that if something isn't to their liking, some aspect of a film, then the whole film is bad, you know, and they are willing and ready to hate on this film because Joss Whedon was a part of the project. It's just one of those things where you call a name and a stigma is attached to it. Zack Snyder, oh, he's a great visual effects guy. He's good at painting visual pictures, not good at dialogue and story and plot. You know, so you have to deal with these kinds of asinine things. People put this guy in a box and that's it. Forget it. Throw away the key. Ben Affleck. Nah, man, Ben Affleck can't play Batman. You remember that? You remember that, folks? Ben Affleck, he's, oh my God, Batfleck. No. Gal Gadot, too skinny to play Wonder Woman. Remember that? Zack Snyder, he's not good at casting at all. Same thing's happening with Joss Whedon now. Oh, it's Joss Whedon. Jokes. We don't want no Avengers film. Danny Elfman comes in. Oh, man, they kick off Junkie XL for Danny Elfman. Oh, man. And I understood. I understood where they were coming from. But you can't judge people based off of some of the things you know they did, but you don't know they did other stuff. All right? And the one thing about Joss Whedon is that motherfucker can do dialogue. He can do interaction with characters quite well. And he was working with Zack Snyder almost all along. So what the fuck? You let the dude direct the finish off the film. Now, some of the CGI in this film were a little bit rough. When I watched Batman jumping down, you know, when he leaped off the side to come off the parademon, and we've seen that shot view where he was jumping down the tunnel. Parts of the tunnel was just too sharp. It should have been out of focus and stuff. I get it. They're still trying to finish up the film, and they need to finish up the film for the DVD. So y'all work on the film. And also, if it's in the cinemas, keep on working on the film. God damn it. Don't be paid for substandard work now. We want the best quality work we can get, okay? So I know Warner Brothers looks like they're abandoning this project, like they want to distance themselves, focus on something else. Hey, look at Aquaman. It's so funny. That's hilarious. but we're going to stick with the film, okay? And I want to see what they say when this film suddenly just turns around and starts to do well. What are they going to say then? They going to pat each other in the back? Look, we did a good job. I was like, fuck you, Warner Brothers. We did it. I'm just joking, but I'm just saying, you know, the unedited stuff is coming out of my mind. But at the same time, what I'm saying is that you know, it's a good film. It's a very good film, in my opinion. There are some plot holes in it. I've started to really troubleshoot it, and I found one or two plot holes in there. It doesn't take away from the story, but they are plot holes. Unless you guys can give me answers to them, I've tried to figure it out, and I just couldn't. I mean, it's no defense for those things. But at the end of the day, I would tell you, because I watched this film quite a lot, okay? I would tell you this is a damn good film, man. It's a good film. It's entertaining. It doesn't deserve the kind of treatment that some people are giving it, and the fake outrage. I still think it's fake. I still think it's fake. And I think people need to go back and watch it again. You know what I'm saying? All right, Marcel Music says, whoa. So Joanne Lewis said, what's up, guys? How are you doing, Dave? Marcel Music said, whoa. Marcel says, that's a lot of info. Joanne Lewis says, sup, Marcel. Marcel Music laughs. Dave Ethan says, you're right. DCU is all about the characters, not the tone. No, don't. The DC is all about the tone, bro. It's not about the crackers. It is about the crackers too, but it's about the tone. But I understand what you're saying with the Shazam thing. Yeah, the DCU they're trying to stretch it out. You understand? So they can accommodate characters like Shazam and Plastic Man. Plastic Man and Shazam, they are hilarious, man. Plastic Man's a trip. You know, you gotta understand what you're dealing with. That's why they introduced the Flash. You know, he's funny. They introduced Harley Quinn. She trippy, she crazy, out of her mind. They introduced Captain Boomerang, who was funny as well. They need to, because you've got to have that range and depth. There are just certain characters that are just freaking hilarious. It's like Marvel on steroids. It's like wacky tunes. You know what I'm saying? If you do a Harley Quinn solo, you got to understand, she's crazy. She's out of her mind. And if you ever read a Harley Quinn comic, It's zany. It's out there. It don't make no sense. All right, so you know, if you're gonna go Harley Quinn, you can't have it dark and gritty and serious. It's not gonna happen. Stoic. It's not gonna happen. It's a Harley Quinn. A Harley Quinn movie. It's a trip. It's like you smoked LSD and you watched it. You know, it's in a way it's kind of gonna be a rated R because you know she's gonna kill people. And it's gonna be funny. It'll be kind of like a Chucky movie for kids. You know, you gotta think. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, man. Shazam is also going to be funny as hell. I mean, that's what Shazam is. Shazam, he's a little boy who became a superhero, so it's going to be a trip. You know, and I think this is what people don't get, right? They don't get that Warner Brothers does have to do lighter movies. They do have to make funny, lighter movies, and that's just what it is. It like you said, like Dave Eaton was saying, it does depend on what character you're dealing with, how they carry these movies, and they must fit into the universe. So it's awesome when Danny Elfman actually throws in, you know, the retro Superman themes, and he's got a slightly, because he's done Marvel movies, he's got that little Marvel feel that pops up and goes down. Because now this universe can hold a Marvel character, yet keep a certain tone, keep a certain seriousness to it, a certain grounding, a certain gravitas, so that even if Shazam was to join the Justice League, okay, you got a certain gravitas, and then it probably be counterbalanced with the criminals, the villain, like Black Adam would be goddamn serious. Cyborg kind of held this movie together because he's a serious character. You know what I'm saying? He's a serious character, so he kind of held the core of the storyline together. He didn't really make much jokes until the end of the movie where Superman, you know, says, you know, I take it back. I want to die. Cyborg cracks up with that. They're lying under the ground, hurt, and they can't move, and they're rolling around kind of like, and they're laughing. I mean, you gotta understand, you gotta have some of that, because that's actually how Superman is. Superman laughs at some of the zaniest things, and he does make some out there jokes at times, you know, and that was a straightforward joke. That was Superman was making a joke to break the heaviness of the moment and the pain he was suffering. He laughed through it, you know, and that's what a hopeful person does. They laugh at themselves sometimes. So it fits in with the character, and that's the thing people don't get. They're like, oh man, all Zack Snyder's movies were dark and gritty, and now look what you gave us. What is this? Oh. I'm having a ball, folks. I mean, you got to understand, man. You got to understand. The DCU is not made to be somewhere where you can commit suicide. Oh, man, that was great. Now I'm going to go kill myself. It wasn't made. It wasn't made for that. Oh man, BVS was a great movie because it was dark and gritty, and Batman wanted to kill Superman. He didn't give a flying fuck about life. I'm just laughing, man. It's funny, man. Yo, you gotta understand, man. The DCEU is much more than that, and that's what I think a lot of people don't get. And so if you're like, if you want like one of those superficial people who you like the style of the movie, but you don't really understand the substance, you wouldn't understand where Zack Snyder was going with this. And so I'm just saying, man. Marcel Music, he laughs. Dave Ethan, you're right. The DCU is all about characters, not the tone. Yeah, to some degree, it is about the tone. Don't get me wrong. It has a certain tone. It has a certain feel to it. But this tone is able to absorb all these different other feelings. You understand what I'm saying? What Danny Elfman kind of did, though, was he didn't really, in a way, kind of left the story kind of unfinished in the way how he didn't come back to certain Man of Steel themes with the music. He should have at least hinted it in. I don't know if it had to do with rights and who was doing what, and you had to pay royalties to do it or whatever. I don't know what happened there. All right. Joan Lewis said, I'll try. David needs to say, oh, what's up, Joan? Joan said, nothing much, man. Work, school. Joan says, I like the direction they want to do. It's like comic books. Yep. Where it's not all shared but interconnected. So you get the team up movie. You don't have to watch all the movies to get the full story. Exactly. And then you have the individual stories again, and then you have a team up movie again. Yeah, basically. But the nice thing about the individual stories is that each individual story has a theme as well. Their themes carry through the DCEU, and that's what I like, and that's what they're going to do. And each director is going to do it their own way. Patty Jenkins did Wonder Woman her own way. David Ayer did Suicide Squad his own way. Zack Snyder has his own way of doing things. I like that. And it, you know, again, I hope Warner Brothers understands their identity is not Fox and it's not Disney Marvel. I hope they understand that. Disney Marvel gives you formulas. I don't like that. Fox, they do their own thing. They don't have no connectivity sometimes. They just do whatever the fuck they feel like doing. That's cool. Warner Brothers, they have themes that are running through each and every story, and they need to keep that going. Something always new, something always, they're telling always something new to us for our daily lives. That's what I liked about the DCEU. When it's no longer relatable to me and there's no longer any relevance to me, I'm not going to be watching it. But I believe they have so much to say with these characters that's why I'm watching it. Harley is more like a Deadpool type of movie, but a serious story because she's wacky. Madcap, but she wants to be a hero than Joker's sidekick. Right. I don't know if she wants to be a hero. Harley Quinn's mind's kind of messed up, but yeah, she tries to help people. Yeah. She's kind of like Catwoman, actually, more than she is like Deadpool. Deadpool, I don't like Deadpool. I don't, and then all of those sex jokes, and I don't like it, man. That's fucking shit. Harley Quinn's, see, the psychology of Harley, that's cool. The interesting thing about Harley Quinn is her psychology, how she thinks and reasons, you know, and that's, and in her mind, it's haphazard. It's kind of like the Joker's mind. It's haphazard. Deadpool's mind is not necessarily haphazard. He's always trying to tell a joke, and he's always, but she's lost some screws in her head. So it's kind of like she thinks randomly sometimes about things, and her focus is all over the place. And she always think about Joker on something he's doing to her. You know what I'm saying? She's really out there. So, but yet at the same time, she can be composed, put it together, and literally assess different people and stuff. But she's kind of out there. The Harley Quinn we saw in Suicide Squad kind of explains to you she is a person. She does have feelings, you know. It's not always a joke, and that's the cool thing about her. Whereas Deadpool, man, I don't even want to talk about that fucking movie. It's just, I hate it because it's all about meta jokes and it's fucking shit. It's superficial shit for me. I will spit on that shit, right? And again, it's my personal preference in movies. It's not necessarily that the movie was bad. You get what I'm saying? The difference between me and a stupid critic who doesn't understand to separate their personal preference in something and their expectations from what the movie actually is. If a whole fucking ton of people are watching a movie, then it can't be shit. See what I'm saying? Because it has entertainment value for those people. So it can't be shit. Just can't. So for me to say Transformers is shit, for me, my personal preference, I like something that enumerates my mind. It helps me somehow. Okay. And I don't get that from Transformers. I just get empty entertainment. And oh, look at the Transformer move. I love to see romance move. And, you know, I'm not saying it doesn't have a storyline, but I'm just saying because people actually went and bought tickets to all those movies and helped them make money. You can't be talking about a film being shit and it's making money. It just doesn't work that way. So I don't say, I say that's not my, you know, Deadpool's just not my style of movie. Thor Ragnarok's just not my style of movie. Because if I start to open up and be honest about those movies, I will go to town on what I just did not like about the movie. I would. You guys think people shredded Batman v Superman bad? Oh, you don't want to hear me start talking about those movies and how much I hated and despised them. You don't want to hear that because I'm not that kind of person. I don't dwell on what I hate. I dwell on what I like. You know, but if I were to go to town on Thor Ragnarok, I purposely didn't go see Deadpool because I knew what the fuck it was and I didn't want to see it. Okay, right? This is some movies you just know. Just don't need to go into the cinema and curse while everybody's laughing. I'm saying, oh fuck, fuck! I wasted money on this shit. All through the movie. That's all. When everybody starts to laugh, I'll be like, fuck. Kicking my seat and everything. Be like, fuck, I had to sit through this shit because I paid for it. You guys gotta understand, man. That's frustrating. Watching a movie and you're not enjoying anything about it because your mind's like, God damn it, man, I hate this shit. That's all. You can't get out of that gear. You just can't. You're trying to, but you can't. That's not good, right? So, and you paid for that shit? Oh, hell no. No, I knew I wasn't going to pay for Deadpool. I knew I wasn't going to pay for Thor Ragnarok. I knew even though I did pay for it, fuck. I look back at that and say, God damn it, man, I could have spent that ticket on Justice League. It's all good, though. It's all good, you know. At least I tried to patronize something I knew I didn't like it. I knew I going into the cinema, this is just not my thing. This is not my joint. You know, I couldn't prepare myself mentally for Thor Ragnarok. I don't know about other people. They like Thor Ragnarok. I was like, fuck it, man. I fell asleep a little bit in the middle of Thor Ragnarok. I shut down, bro. I shut down. Another guy was talking about, you know, the Hulk actually went against the fiery thing. I was like, I didn't see that. And I actually had to go back and look at a pirated copy of the thing and see, oh, yeah, he did. Oh, damn. I was sleeping through that. Okay. I shut down. That's when you know. That's when you know that movie was shit for you. You fall asleep on a movie. You couldn't take it. Your system, your subconscious mind said, oh, I can't take this. I'm shutting down. I'm having a ball here, man. This video is fun. All right. Harley's more like Deadpool type of movie. And Shazam. You say something about Shazam somewhere here. What is it? Joe and Lewis said Shazam should be a superhero version of Big with Tom Hanks again, but take story serious so we can understand how much it sucks to be Billy, but how awesome he grows as a hero himself. Big? Shazam? Yeah, I can see that. But Big is Shazam is not. Shazam's a little wacky, man. It's a wacky-ish kind of movie. You know what I'm saying? And he's a superhero, so he's gonna do some superhero stuff. You know what I'm saying? And he's very powerful as a superhero. So Shazam is going to be one of them. It's pretty funny because Shazam says all kinds of shitty things, man. You remember, this is a 14-year-old kid. You know, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but Shazam, you know, you get to be powerful like that. You in puberty and all of that shit. So it incorporates a lot of different things. Shazam, he becomes a hero for totally different reasons at times. Let's put it that way. But Billy Batson, he gonna come into his own. Yeah, it should be an interesting movie. I'm interested in seeing how Shazam is pulled off, but it's usually very comical. It's a funny movie, you know. So I would look forward to seeing how they pull that off, how they get Shazam down, because that should be interesting. If they can pull off Shazam, they can pull off just about anything, I think. Joe and Lewis says, "What's up with you, Dave? Nothing, man. Hoping for a job next week." Oh, what happened to you, Dave? What happened, man? You're not working anymore? What's going on there, brother? Keep hope alive, brother. Let me know how I can help you out. Joan Lewis, good luck, man. Dave says, thanks, Joan. Joe Lewis says, actually, I've read some Harley comics, and she does want to aspire to be a hero than Joker's sidekick. She wants to help, but her stories are very wacky, fun-loving story like Deadpool, but no meta jokes. Nope, no meta jokes. And man, some of her stuff. Let me tell you how weird Harley Quinn is. She'd be in one scene in her dream or in her imaginings or daydreaming. All of a sudden, she just totally changed from that scene into something totally totally different scene. Like you'd be like, there's no continuity in the story. She'd be in a totally different venue talking to somebody totally different. And then she swings both ways. She's gay, she's lesbo, she's heterosexual. She's attracted to people sometimes. I mean, Harley Quinn is, I don't know, man. I mean, Deadpool's kind of the same way, but he's more of a merc and he doesn't really imagine stuff. She doesn't have an active imagination. But I hear you, man, Joe and Lewis. Well, I meant not a lot of meta jokes like Deadpool. Yeah, I just fucking Deadpool. I hate Deadpool. That's terrible. Because I kind of liked the comic book character, but I just don't like the movie. I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I haven't watched Deadpool. I just haven't watched Deadpool all the way to the finish. Anyway, so I was saying that the fans' reaction to Justice League's musical score, you know, I get why there was such a sort of reaction, a triggered reaction to Justice League's musical score. I think it triggered people, but I think they can get over it. They can get over it pretty fast. And what I'm gonna do, but I think I'm gonna get flagged because I can't mask the music. I've tried to do that, but it keep on getting flagged for it. Maybe I'll put it up on Facebook. That's what I might do. I might put it up on Facebook. I might upload it to Facebook because I think I won't get flagged there. Where I want to share with you guys the musical score that Danny Elfman did, so you could understand. The reason why I don't have a job right now was education purposes. Now I'm out of school and I'm trying to get back to work. Okay. All right, man. Well, good luck on that. What area are you looking at? Joan Lewis says, okay, guys, I gotta go. Time for me to get ready for work. Good luck. Yes, sir, man. But keep on working hard. I'll see you out here. And Dave Ethan, keep on working hard on what you're doing. I like what you're doing out there on social media. Keep on doing it as much as you can. I'm going to talk to you guys later. If you guys going out to see this movie or inviting people to go see this movie over the weekend also, let me know, man. And what time you're going to do it. I'm going out Sunday. If I can go to IMAX, that would be good to see this movie. I just have to generate enough movie to do that, man. Home Depot, baby. All right, brother. All right. I hope you get back a spot there, as well as I hope you get something even better than that, if you so wish, you know. And if you can start your own business, that would be cool too, man. Or do something here on social media. I do a little bit of advertising. For those people who don't know, I work in music, advertising, promotion, that kind of thing. Online, offline, I do my own business. I sell drinks and stuff offline. I also do. I'm a music teacher, so I also teach music on the side. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, you guys have a great one, man. A great day. And that note, I just wanted to talk a little bit about fan reaction. You guys have a good one, though. Bless. I'll try to put out those videos, so look out for them.